Right, good morning guys, hey Dark, hey Peter, hey David. Have we fixed the problem? I don't know. Let's have a look at the status. Yeah, Cat 2, that's pretty much as expected. Yeah, it looks like it's been fixed. So I'll take this aircraft back to Luton. So we go, nice quick one again, got to be done by 12:30 again because Mrs. wants a lunch. So, very quick one, we've got loading, boarding started already. I'll run through sort of what I've done. I've changed my headset back as well. I mean, I listened back to the stream yesterday that I did, and I wasn't exactly that impressed with the Apple AirPods. They weren't exactly brilliant for streaming, so I've put my old headset back. So it's a bit annoying because I can't really hear myself talk. I need another headset. This one isn't really suitable. I can't really hear what I'm saying, and I know there's a bit of feedback sometimes. But anyway, we've got the boarding started already. We want to go. We want to be airborne really by 12:30, so about 25 minutes. So yeah, let's crack on and do everything because I don't want to be messing about too much. I think we're all done on the overhead. It's mainly the FMGC and the plates as well. Hey Peter, Gonzalo, how are you doing? To fly that sim. Do I need to wait any time to start my flights? Do you mean like not really? I mean, I've got my. If you look at the flight plan, I've got it to go at half 10 Zulu. Which is 10:30 local in the UK. So yeah, in 25 minutes. So that's the sort of the time that I've filed for the flight to go. That's basically pushback. But you don't have to stick to that. I mean, if there's nobody online, no controllers. Thanks so much for the SOP. No worries, Peter. That's fine. Yeah, you don't have to stick to that. But when you're doing like big events, doing like cross the pond things, etc., you'll probably be given a slot, and that will be somewhere around your departure time probably, and you will have to comply with your slot, otherwise you won't get going because it'll be so busy. Anyway, I had a quick look at this earlier. So pretty straightforward route down to Luton. Gatwick Seals at 38,000 feet. 07 right 25, so that's not too bad. About 6 tons is the block fuel. Weather is a bit crap really, it's not very good, so we've got 3,500 metres light drizzle, broken at 200, so sort of potentially LVPs in Luton. May get a little bit better, bit of scattered cloud, bit of rain, bit gusty, so it's not particularly great in Luton, it's not great in Gatwick either, it's not great in Bristol, and it's not great in Birmingham, although I am looking out my window and I'm sort of in the south and it's clear blue skies, so I'm not too sure how accurate this is, because I'm looking out my window and it's actually beautiful, so I don't know, but we'll pay attention to it, and I've basically gone, look, we'll have Manchester fuel on, because that's not too bad, it gives us a bit of extra thinking time, and a bit of extra thinking time as well for the approach if it needs to give it a go, so I've put an extra ton on, so I've basically put about 7 tons on, which we have, there we go, the fuel is done. So yeah, a bit of extra fuel just for the weather. Turn all those off. Node times, definitely look at the node times. Nothing really stuck out. A couple of taxiways maybe. I might have to have a look at those in a second. Something for the SIDS. Oh, there we go. So that's 07 left. We're going to go 07 right. Due to bomb disposal. Hey, due to bomb disposal flight. Approach. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I wonder if that's a recent. Ah, yeah. They've obviously found a Second World War bomb. So, yeah, change to the missed approach. If you landed on 25 right, climb straight ahead, and then continue climbing. Oh, there you go. So they've obviously found a bomb at the end of 25 right. So, yeah, if that thing was to go off, you wouldn't be picked off by the shrapnels. Obviously, they've amended that to increase the go-around attitudes. Luton, what do we got? Searchlight display, something else. Stand 42 left, closed, okay. Let's have a quick look at Manchester. Searchlights is all sort of this time of year, isn't it? With searchlights and fireworks, etc. Good, right, there's nothing really there, so that's fine. Let's have a quick look at the FMGC, because I need to get this going. Bomb disposal, yeah, I haven't seen that before. 99%, that's a British bomb, probably, yeah, I mean, I suppose we should be paying for it, really, shouldn't we? Right, easy, what's the call sign? 49 Tango Lima. Cost index, we are 6, I think, today. Cost index 6, yeah. In it, that's already done, I think. Yeah, winds, request that. Done that. Weather, I need to write the weather down. Come on. So we've got 110 at 4. 4 degrees. Oh, it's cold. 1004. Good. 1004. Four degrees, and let's get the flight plan in. So I think 07 right is the plan. I need to have a look at this because there's a lot of SIDs for Berlin. Christian, you'll know you're German. What we got? Sukip 1 Quebec. So is that a valid SID? Let's get charts. That one. That one. The stands. Oh, that one. That's the old terminal. There we go. Down there. How did I say? Sokip. Sukip. Sukip. Sokip. It's one of these. Sukip 1 Quebec, yes. That one. So it's got the early turn. Right, I can't remember. Is this one only ever given by ATC? I can't quite remember. I might go the longer way. Just I don't know. Or should we just stick to that one? We'll stick to that one. I don't know. I'm sure there's some caveat with this one. There's some restriction about using this one, but I can't quite remember. It's been a while since I've been here, to be honest. Right, 80, so flight level for the clearance. Get you on. Get you on. If somebody can find out the engine out procedures as well, I'd be very, very handy, since I can't actually remember what they are. Socket 1 Quebec. Insert. Lands in ILS 225. And Winnis 1 November. So pretty much a straight in approach, which would be nice. This one November, there we go. That's done, that's done, that's done. 38,000 feet, I think was the cruise. Minus 55. 57.6. 30. What do we want to Manchester? It was about another couple of hundred on top of Manchester. Say 1.4. That would probably cover us. And so this came up with a really funny fuel figure yesterday. You know, completely opposite, different to what the fuel plan was. Seems legit. It's the famous God's curve, or Hartmann's curve. I think it's called something like that. Short one is pretty common. Okay. Yeah. I think it's noise abatement seems pretty. Yeah, it sounds familiar. Right, well, we got 7 tons. It says things about 6.5. We're going 7, so that's fine. We'll use that. So 64. 64.4 is going to be takeoff weights. Bit of extra fuel. That's kind of what we want. Oh, I still need to do this, don't I? Radnavs don't really need to worry about those. Where are we? Berlin. 07. Let's just take off the one land on the one we've taken off. Performance. We come back to secondary. Yeah, does anybody remember what the emergency procedure is, or I'm going to have to get in and out? I thought I started a channel, Angus, thanks very much. No worries, yeah, I'm just trying to sort of find the time to do it, really. Which, obviously, time is precious. That's all done, that's done. Right, I think we're all ready and set up to go. I need to have a quick look at the config. Let's just make sure these are all good. No, come on. Failures, not manual. Right, store as default, thank you. load sheet. Right, there's the load sheet. That's what we want. So 57.6 pretty much is exactly what we got. Takeoff fuel's going to be a little bit higher than that. As if your weight CAG is 29.8. Hey. I forget the slash. Possibly. There we go, 29.8. Good, we'll accept that. Just got to wait for the final load sheet to come through. Let's have a quick look at the performance. Right, in terms of departure, we can probably do an intersection here quite easily. Airports. So we're up here on apron C, Charlie 5 is where Gavin left his aircraft yesterday, so could we do Mike 3? That might help. Uh, 07 right, Mike 3, yes we can. 2475, that's what we're after. Just read that EasyJet is liking more the longer route because the sharp turn is sometimes in the limits in terms of high payload. Yeah. Nah, don't know. I'd need to read the brief, I haven't actually. Should I read the brief? Let's have a quick look. See if there's anything in there. Have I got time? Probably. Almost. Yeah, 07 right. Several series for 07 right require high climb gradient associated minimum altitude crossings. Right, so inform ATC unable to accept Quebec SID, unable to meet the altitude constraints. Yeah, there is. Yeah, interesting enough, there is a procedure here, which I can sort of run through. 07 right, full length runway must be used. Oh, okay, so I can't use. Right, interesting. Right, let's have a quick look at this. See what it says. Dry. Go config 1. Packs off. What do we say? 64.4. So yeah, something to have a look at. 64.4. What was CAG going to be? 28, about 28%-ish. Might be a bit more forward than that because the fuel's going to be a bit more. Sink the wind and full length, 4,000 meters. Alright, let's get this in. 45, 45, 47. Flat 1. What was the flex? 68, I'd imagine. Yeah, 68. Alright, let's have a quick look at these altitude constraints. So 200 knots. You'll have to do that in S speed. 180. What do I need? The charts. Morning, Dave. How you doing? Right, so it says out above 10,000 feet. Yeah, so only 9 miles. You've got to go about 20 miles to get to out above 10,000 feet. Yeah. So that could be a problem, can it? I suppose. That may not be achievable. Oh, it sort of says. Yeah, it sort of says it might be, but was it POBAM? Yeah, POBAM. So it sort of thinks we should flight level 114. But yeah, it does say. So several SIDs for 07 right require high climb gradient associated minimum altitude crossings, which we can see here. What is the climb gradient? Does it say anything? It usually says a climb gradient somewhere. Oh, there we go. Yeah, 10%. Ooh, yeah. So yeah, 10% is very high. So right, okay. So I might not be able to maintain that. Select the assigned Quebec SID from the database and do not alter any waypoints. Once line up on the runway, select any appropriate heading for the westerly turn. This will disarm nav and select runway track after takeoff. It suggests for the easterly SIDS tune 140 degrees, for the westerly SIDS move them tune 180 degrees. When reaching 600 feet, pull heading, and then once the initial turn is complete and at an appropriate point, push heading knob and confirm nav engages and rejoins the SID. Westerly SIDS move at maximum speed 180 knots until inbound movement. That's how we've hard tuned that already. And if unable to accept the Quebec SID from 07 right due to weight restrictions to meet the altitude constraints, ATC will assign 07 left. Inform ATC that your jet 07 left, 07 right with a Zulu SID would be assigned. Alright, so if you're a jet 07 left, then we basically get the Zulu SID. Right, so yeah, there's a little bit, all good, boarding's complete. So a little bit of procedure here, so we've got to use full length, and then we take off 600 feet, we take a right hand turn, 180 degrees. And then once that turn is complete, we push nav. So yeah, a bit of an interesting one. This is all in that sort of company aerodrome brief, so obviously this won't be really readily available. But there we go. Alright, that's done, that's done. We're done. I think we're all set up to go. Get rid of you. Because see, I'm not going to be quite finished by 12:30, am I? Might not be too far off. That door's still open apparently. Boarding's complete, isn't it really? Oh, the Jessie's attached properly now. Sorry, we can finish that one and get the load sheet. Right, in terms of the emergencies, did anybody actually get the emergencies? I don't know what the emergencies are. Come on, PMs. You should be helping me out here. Where are we going? 070. I've got no idea if it's a standard or not. I'm just going to amend it. Right, that will do. It's going to go straight ahead. And then just turn downwind if we have any problems. Sort the performance out when we need to. Hey Pete, how you doing? Right, good, so that's what we're going to do. So we sort of discussed the departures, a bit convoluted, so we're pre-select 180 on that. And then as soon as we've done the turn, we can then push for nav. It's a flight level as well, stopping at, so that's a little bit different. That's not on the QNH. We've got the ATC. No, we don't. Fair enough. Weather's all fine. It's fine here. It's a bit crap down the other end. Apparently, the aircraft's fine. Gavin did break it yesterday. He broke the yellow electric engine pump. He broke that, but yeah, that's been fixed. We can take this back to Luton. No terms, nothing really to affect us that I can see. There's a couple of taxiway closures. Let's just remind ourselves on those. So Bravo's closed between Victor 2 and Easterly. So where the hell's that? Yeah, there's Bravo there. Victor 2 and Easterly intersection to taxiway Echo. Yeah, I'm guessing that bit might be closed. Yeah, maybe here, maybe this bit's closed. That's fine. So we push back and then go out probably Victor 1 and then down Bravo. What else? Alpha's closed between Victor 2 and Mike 8. Oh god, bloody taxiway closures. Victor 2 and Mike 8. Where the hell's that? There's Victor 2. Oh yeah, so that bit's closed as well. So it looks like these bits are closed. Okay, that's not going to affect us. What else? Yes, understandable. November 1 closed between. Okay. Right, I'm not going to worry too much about those. Right, sees departure 07 left, so I'm not going to do it. Good, fine. Threats, well, major threats, not really too much. Let's have a quick look at the arrival. 07 right. There we go. Don't think there's much MSA to worry about. We've got 2,400 feet. Yes, that's fine. So 3,000 is nice and safe. We can hold down to Glasdorf if we need to. Come back in that way. It's all in the box. What do we got? Down here. Back to Luton. 38,000 feet. Fuel, yeah, should get a little bit more by the time we get going. 38,000 feet. Maybe a little bit high. Yeah, maybe 360. Taking a bit more fuel, I suppose. Flight plans all in. It's this departure. I'm not going to do that. We're going to do a slightly amended version of that. Radnavs don't need any of those. Don't need anything in the progress. The performance we've pre-selected. No, hang on. What are we going to do? Westerly SIDS maximum speed 180. And SP's. I have to redo this again. Let's go flap 2. We have to do this in flap 2, aren't we? Oh, this is hard work. Wasn't expecting this. Alright, flap 2, off. Done. Full length again. Alright, flap 2 departure as well. 44, 44, 46. Flap 2. I'm sure the flex is still 68, isn't it? Yeah, 68, good. NADP 2, is it, or is it NADP 1? There you go, Christian. You know. Can't say, just want to say engine 2 has been fixed. It has, yeah. It has, Gav. Fuel is fine. Secondary is standard company Airbus emergencies. Not expecting any failures anyway. So that's all fine and dandy. So yeah, the departure is maximum 180 knots. So we're going to do flap 2, turn right 180 degrees, and then as soon as we're on the track to the south, then we just go press nav, and it should pick up the routes, hopefully. So let's have a quick look at cockpit preparation. The aircraft acceptance has been accepted. Got the all quantity hydraulics. That's all working. That's all fine overhead as well. Fuel quantity we have, 7 tons, and it's balanced. Seatbelts are on. ADRSs we have 3 in nav, and the QNH is a 1004. Cockpit preparation checklist is complete. Hopefully you got that final load sheets. So there you go. Gav, I don't know if you with us. NADP 2, good, that's fine. So yeah, there we go, 57.7. So I always get it about 100 kilograms more than the plant. I don't know why, but you said it doesn't seem to happen that often, but yeah, it happens to me quite often with that. Good, we are good. We're in 2% as well, so that's fine. We can leave that as it is. 29 is the trim. 29.1 to be exact. Good, we'll accept that. That's fine. No LMCs to worry about. Good. So let's see if we can get going. So let's get Pushback. You was lucky minor failure. Yeah, he was. Yeah, to be fair, I mean, you know, it's a bit of a nuisance, but you know, it's not actually that bad. Right, so that's
cockpit to ground.
So soon we've been cleared to push. That's done. Alright, so the before start checks, parking brake is on. Takeoff data is confirmed. Windows are closed. PDs. Flight modes. Doors are closed and armed. And the beacon is on. Before start checks complete. Make sure on Unicom as well.
Okay, sir. The bypass pin is installed. All doors and hatches closed, and all ground equipment is removed. The parking brakes are set. You may lift. Parking brake set. Lifting the aircraft. We are cleared for start and push. Okay, cleared for push start. Please release parking brake.
There's nobody else around us. Berlin traffic, EC49 Tango Lima is pushing back from stand Charlie 5 to face west.
Please release parking brake. Parking brakes are released. Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence. It will start in the sequence.
Right, so engine mode selector is start. I might do single engine because it's quite a long taxi now. Let me just start the second one just to sort of get going, since we've got to use full length departures anyway. Alright, so that's looking good. Starting 1. Oops. Right, one thing I did need to do was just amend that pre-selected speed, I think. Was it still in? No, 180. That's fine. So yeah, we're taking off at flap 2 now. Right, engine 1 is started. That's looking good. So engine mode selector is back to normal. Bleed is off. Electric pump is on. That's one thing I didn't do was that. And that. That's done. That's rudder trim. Flaps, flap 2. And so I wonder if the CG has changed. No, it won't have changed with it. Of course it hasn't. So I wonder if the CG had changed because of the flaps, but it doesn't really make any difference. So 29.1. I get there. There we go. That's done. Status. Usual things on the status. Cat 3 single, Cat 3 dual, Pack 2. Yeah, that's as expected. I've never.
Okay, pushback completed. Please set your parking brake.
Alright, pushback, stationary, parking brake set. Yeah, this pushback thing has never caused me any problems. I know it has caused some people problems with like descents and this, that, and the other, but I've never had it. It's always worked reasonably well. I did have some crash to desktops starting the sim, you know, a few months ago, but I don't think it was this. I think it was more the hard drive.
Thank you and goodbye.
Alright, tog's disconnected. None of the pin would be somewhere on the right, which we don't get because we don't have GSX. That's fine. Right, so we don't do the after starts yet because we still haven't started number 2, so that's all fine. So we'll just get going, and then I think what we do is we get on Alpha, and you can go. And the routes, as we said, down here. Yeah, a couple of minutes late. So we go Echo Victor 1, and then I think we'll just go down Bravo. I think probably be easiest. Berlin traffic, EC49 Tango Lima is taxiing to runway 07 right, full length fire, Echo Victor 1 and Bravo. Good. Excuse me. Sorry. Oh, I tried to cover the microphone there. Right, clear on both sides. That's good. Oh, I'm going to sneeze again in a minute, probably. Oh, I know what I haven't probably done, actually. I've still got the 310 set up, haven't I? Yes, I do. Get this back. There we go. Yeah, that could have been embarrassing. Recommendations out from Phoenix. They suggest not to use it at Phoenix. Never had any issues. Yeah, I've never had any issues with it. It's been fine. If I bothered buying GSX, which I'm not going to bother buying, you could just use that, but I'm not going to bother buying it. So, all right, go on, fatty. You're not that heavy. What are we? Yeah, so below max landing weight, pretty much, to come back. All right, brakes are checked. This is great, so I can just use rudder pedals to steer. Nice and easy, so I can still look around. Was there any other online traffic about? It was very quiet yesterday. It sounded like I sneezed. No, I didn't. I would never do it on purpose. Oh, this is Twitches, the 310 is. Alright, it's all clear on the right hand side. There's no one here. Right, I think we've done our bit, haven't we, for the company? So that's done to start the second one. So the electric pump can come off, bleed can come on. Engine motor selector is start. Is indications, starting number 2. Waiting for a broadband engineer to turn up dark. Is your, 600 megabytes per second broadband still not good enough? Or whatever it is you've got. I think most people are content with like 30 and 40, and you've got about 20 times more than most other people. Right, 2 is started. Looking stable. So that's back to normal. APU bleeds off, don't need the anti-ice, that's coming off. And now we do the after start, so the anti-ice is off. Ecam status is checked, pitch trim was 29.1%, and the rudder trim was neutral. So the after start check is complete. So now we can do the flight controls. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral. Here's my stupid bit where I think I haven't got it right. So full left rudder, full right rudder. I wish they'd sort this out. Neutral. So that's done, and that's all done. It's on me. That's good. I don't need that. That's done, and oh, I haven't done these. Why did I not do those? I thought I'd done those. Right, quick peds performance. We've got full length figures. We're going to go flap 2 as well, so we need to pre-select 180 degrees in here because it's a slightly different amended procedure. There's no sort of LMCs, the speeds are still all valid as well, so calculated for full length for flap 2. Engine out departure was, I don't know, straight ahead and come back in here if we need to. Departure is this sort of abbreviated Zurich 1 Quebec departure. We're stopping at a flight level which is 80. Oh, the runway markings have gone. Are they supposed to be like this? Should we stay on the runway markings? Taxiway markings, probably a good idea. Maybe they're doing roadworks down there as well. There's nobody around, so nobody cares. Alright, let's keep going. Right, so taxi checklist, flight controls checked. Flap setting we have config 2. And FMA's climb blue 152. That's because we've pre-selected 180 knots, 180 on the heading even. Red unpredicted wind shear is on. Ecam memo is take off no blues, and the EFBs are stowed and disconnected. That's the taxi checks complete. So yes, what is this stupid departure? Sukip. It's 1 gig and it's only running at 300. It's free minimum speed is so you have to fix on the contract. Yeah, they probably need to give you compensation as well, Doc, without giving you what you should be getting. I think we're all good. Just waiting for the 3 minutes which we've got, so we have the time for the engines. Nope. So it's disconcerting when you start seeing the markings disappear. What I could really do is see if there's anybody on finals. So my phone battery's about to die. Let's try and keep it on the centre line. Don't fancy cleaning the grass off from the wheels when we land. No, I don't think there's anybody about. Good. Berlin traffic, EC49 Tango Lima is departing runway 07 on the Sukip 1 Quebec departure. Right, so full length. I don't think it makes any difference. I think they all both go to the same place here. So the approach is clear. Get the lights on. It's already on, isn't it? Packs are off. TCAS is on. And the lineup checklists. Cabin is secure for takeoff. Takeoff runway is runway 07 right, full length. Takeoff clearance is confirmed. TCAS is TA, R8 and packs 1 and 2. They are both off. Right, just remind us, we'll take off 600 feet on the Barrow. We'd make a right hand turn off to the south. Maximum 180 knots until we're turning right back towards is it Mock or whatever that waypoint was. Yeah, let's give it a go. That's done, that's all done. Paranoia check is done. Can't see the instruments very well. Right, take off. We've got Manflex 68 SRS runway. Thrust is set. Yeah, 100 knots. V1 rotates. Pass to climb. Gear up. Alright, 600 feet. AP1. Heading.
Speed, speed, speed.
Doesn't like that, does it? Yeah, that's what happens when you paying attention outside. So thrust climb. Didn't like that at all. Yeah, I know.
Speed, speed, speed.
Right, try again. AP1. Right, push it back into nav. I think this is more convoluted than doing it the normal way, to be honest. soon as we're back, direct to move them, I think it was. Maximum speeds until move them, till inbound move them. Oh yeah, packs. Yeah, that's here. Lots of distractions. Right, we're inbound move them now, so that's fine. We've done the speed, so we can accelerate to above F speed, flap 1. The real aircraft wouldn't have done that. I don't think it would have. It wouldn't have done that about the speed. It would have looked after itself a little bit better. Hence why I wasn't really expecting it, because the real aircraft probably wouldn't do that. But then, to be fair, the real aircraft wouldn't be sat here at the passenger seat watching. So I suppose it's 6.5 tons of the other. Right, S speed, flap 0. What's temperature? Temperature's pretty cold. 20 guys coming on. Finish the lights. And set standard. Standard is set and cross-checked. It's 80 blue. And let's carry on going up. 3.6 was the cruise. And open going 360 blue. That seems smooth enough, we can let the girls go. And landing lights. Girls and the boys, I suppose, technically. Guess that's an issue that came with the new flight director. Yeah, possibly, Christian. I don't know. I'd need to do that again, but actually not, you know, look at one of the windows, just sort of watch it on the PFD. Yeah, I wasn't too happy. Right, not going to do all of that departure, so let's go skip. Let's just cut the corner a little bit. I'm probably flying over something that I shouldn't be, but there we go. So there you go, there's a bit of paperwork, AirSAR for that. Speed. That'd be an AirSAR going in. Interestingly, what are we? So we need to be... Yeah, I forgot where it was. Oh yeah, there we go, Pobam. You can see it on here. Should have been above flight level 100 at Pobam, which, to be fair, we've actually done. We've achieved that. So, yeah, we could have just stayed on the SID. But yeah, there we go. We've got guidance, which we follow. Alright, there's speeds accelerating. That done. Flight plan, that's fine. Radnavs, everything's auto-tune in progress. 360, yes, a bit above the optimum, but that's fine, we can do that. Cost index is 0 back in there. Fuel, there we go, sorted itself out a bit more, so yeah, about an extra ton almost of what we wanted. That's what we planned for. Secondary I'll leave alone for a second, just in case we get a failure, we need to go back, since Berlin is just off the right hand side. So yeah, if we need to go back, where is it? Can I see it? No, I don't think I can. Where's it gone? There we go, there's Berlin. So yeah, if I need to go back urgently, then just keep the secondary, because obviously I can make a straight approach from here. But I have to probably descend a little bit, but yeah, don't be too much of a rush to clear the secondary once you pass flight level 100, sort of, you know, keep it there for as long as necessary. Our problem with the Phoenix, when I retract the gear, for some reason I get the alarm and ECAM. I'm sure it's because I'm being a dick, but I can't figure out what's... yeah, I don't know, Angus, to be honest. I'd probably have to watch what you're doing. If you got your control settings, like your bindings all set up correct, I won't do it now because I'm too fast, but you know, I've got obviously a landing gear thing, and you know, one selection goes up and one goes down. I think it's you know, I think make sure you got the correct binding for the landing gear. I think one is to go up and one's to go down, rather than just, you know, landing gear or something. I think there's a specific up and down assignment you can do. So maybe there's something going on there. Maybe the assignments aren't right. But I mean, your landing gear, don't forget you've got VLE speeds as well or VLO speeds. So you know the maximum speed you can retract the gear to get the gear up is 220 knots, and the reason for that is the nose gear, don't forget the nose gear goes down and it retracts forwards, so you need to be below 220 knots because otherwise it's going too fast for the nose gear to retract forward into the airstream to go back up into the aircraft. So 220 knots is your maximum retraction speed. 250 knots is the extension speed because obviously the nose gear is then coming down with the airflow. So 250 knots is your maximum extension speed, and then you can fly with the landing gear extended up to 280 knots or Mach 0.67. So you know, make sure you're not busting these speeds. That might be another one. Watching my phone at work, but I can't have the volume on. Okay, I can't do any sign language. That's the problem, Daz. Oh, I'm not swearing too much this way. Can't remember the message. Usually retracting the flaps. Always close to S speed, then it clears. Make note next time. Seems to reach S speed fast. Yeah, I mean, you know, your gear's going up as soon as you take off, so you know you're going to be at your sort of V speeds, aren't you? I think that can come off. That can come off. You know, you're going to be down at 140, 150 knots when you're retracting the gear, so you know you shouldn't be anywhere near these maximum speeds. You know, you seem to reach S speed fast. The only thing I could probably say about that, Angus, is are you pitching to the correct pitch attitude? You know, don't forget what your climb profile is. You know, imagine this is the runway here. You know, you take off and you take off to about 17.5 degrees pitch. You know, 15 to 17.5, depends on how heavy you are, and then you just basically follow the SRS, which is the flight director. So you know the horizontal bar is your SRS initially until you get to the acceleration altitude. So make sure you're following that, because that would give you the correct pitch to maintain sort of about V2 plus 10 or 20 knots. If you're any lower than that, you know, if you're sort of down at 10 degrees or something, you're going to accelerate a lot faster. So, you know, I'd say if you're getting to S speed quite quickly, it's probably because your pitch attitude is not correct on your rotation or after the rotation. And then once you get to the acceleration altitude, the flight director bars come down, the SRS changes to climb, and then it's commanding a pitch to allow you to accelerate through your characteristic speed so you can retract the flaps on schedule. So yeah, maybe that's one of the reasons, because you're not following the flight director or you're not setting the initial pitch correctly. That's maybe what I can probably suggest, but without watching a video of kind of what you're doing, it's a bit hard for me to say. Right, we're well above the NSA now, at least that can go to standard. Ooh, there we go. It's got a funny old arrival route, isn't it? I won't be doing any of this. I'll be going sort of straight in, I think. Especially if there's no ATC online. I'm not going to faff around with that. So should pitch up more on departure to stay. Yeah, sort of, Angus. Ignore the stay below 220 and flex part of that sentence. Just you need to pitch up more. Yeah, I haven't really done a video on this really because it's sort of I'm not being rude, but you know, it's the real sort of fundamentals which I've never actually really covered because I've never really felt the need to. But yeah, there's probably a few videos out there if you need help. I'm sure like A320 pilots or some of the guys have probably done some real fundamental stuff on the takeoff. But just watch any of my videos. Maybe not this one today because it was a bit of a pants, because it's a bit of a strange departure. But what did I do yesterday? Gatwick, didn't I? So Gatwick, Belfast. Just watch, if you can, watch the pitch, watch the rate. I get to about 15 degrees. You want to do about 3 degrees per second. So obviously you want to get to 15 degrees within about 5 seconds, because you know that's what 3 degrees a second is going to work out at. So you want to get to about 15 degrees after about 5 seconds, and you know you basically put in the aircraft symbol, which if I just take that off. Yeah, so this is the aircraft symbol, the wings, that's the nose there. So you want to get this sort of square somewhere in between the 17.5 degree mark here and the 15, so somewhere in this little box. Get it to somewhere around there as you rotate. So that's your sort of initial pitch target on rotation, and then after like a few seconds, after about 100 feet or so, the SRS sort of settles down, and it gives you a sort of, I wonder if I can do it, if I can disconnect, just disconnect the autopilot. I can probably force this a little bit. Maybe, go on, go up, go up, go up, go up. Try my best to force this up. That's 6,000. You sort of get the idea. So basically, the flight directors would be somewhere there, it'd be a bit higher up. But then you want this, want this aircraft symbol sort of on those horizontal. So you sort of following this, and this becomes your SRS. So you want to sort of basically nail these sort of flight director commands, which is basically what you do. Or not that one, that one. So yeah, you follow these flight director commands. And then at acceleration altitude, the flight director commands come down, because then it allows you to accelerate. So, yeah, you're probably not pitching it. It's a very common problem. We had a lot of people initially saying they got into, where is he, 7,000 feet. So he is at my flight level. Okay, I'll keep an eye on him, because we may have to go. Let's go 3-4, just make sure we don't bust his flight level. Yeah, a lot of people complain that they were getting alpha floor, so they were triggering the auto thrust protection. Oh, he might actually be going the other way. He's going 37. He's going that way. That's fine. So we're going to be clear of him. Yeah, they're triggering alpha floor, which is the auto thrust protection. So it's a high alpha protection. Effectively, it's not a stall speed protection, which everyone thinks. It's actually a high alpha protection, which obviously stall is obviously correlated with high angles of attack. And what they were doing is they were pitching too fast. So you can imagine, this is a bit naughty, autopilot's off, but you imagine you're sort of, the nose is level when you take off, and they were sort of rotating really, really, really quickly like this, which was just far too fast. It's well above the sort of 3 degrees per second rotation rates, and because they were rotating too fast, the angle of attack was changing really dynamically. So you've got 2 angle of attack vanes, one there, and these were changing, really dynamically, really fast. And because they were changing so quickly, you'd get a really, really high angle of attack over a really short amount of time, and that would trigger the high angle of attack protection, which was alpha floor, and then they would go into toga thrust, and then that's locked as well. So you've got to disconnect the auto thrust to get out of alpha floor, and basically people were just making a complete clusterfuck of it because they didn't really know what was going on. And the simple thing was they were just rotating far too fast. So just try and remember, it's 5 degrees a second. It's actually, when you time it, when you count sort of 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, etc. to 5. It's actually quite a long time to get to 15 degrees. A lot longer than what you think. So yeah, just try and just slow that rotation rate down, but make sure you nail the correct pitch attitude after rotation as well, because in that way hopefully your speed will be more under control, and then you won't accelerate to S speed. You would keep like a fixed speed of about 160, 170 knots maybe, and then you would just keep that until you get to acceleration altitude, and then you would start accelerating after that. So yeah, that's the best thing I can do, is try that. Yeah, so rotating no more. No, so don't forget, your single engine pitch attitude, Angus, is 12.5 degrees. So, that's your 12.5 degrees. So if you've lost an engine, that's your pitch attitude, because that generates enough lift to lift the aircraft off the ground. So you basically put the sort of this little box here, sort of just on the shelf as we call it, just whack it sort of around the 10 degrees, somewhere in this little sort of letterbox here, and then that should give you enough lift to take off single engine. But that single engine, when you're 2 engine, you're sort of 1.5 times that. You're 15 to 17.5 degrees. So yeah, just pitch up a lot more. Yeah, no worries. Happy to help, Angus. It's one of Gav's things as well. I mean, oh, bit of wind shear. Wind shear or wake, don't know what that was. But it's one of Gav's thing actually. When I started watching Gav a couple of years ago, it's one of his what do we call it? Habits, bad habits. I think he was never pitching up to the correct attitude. He was always sort of pitching up to sort of 10 to 12.5, maybe 15 degrees. But as a result, his speed was never really under control. So it was one of my very first lessons for him when I was You know, giving them a bit of tutorage earlier. You know, a few years ago, it's like, you know, nail that pitch attitude on rotation, and then once you've got sort of 17.5 degrees, 15 degrees, then just follow the SRS. So yeah, there we go. Good. Right, how are we doing? Overhead's looking good. I think we're all good down there. We passed Bremen. I think we've passed you, Christian, haven't we? I think my iPad is charged. Charge the phone. The problem that happens if you don't follow the flight routes I've taken is that that you will be longer in. Yeah, yeah. Christian, as Christian says, you know, if you don't accelerate to the right pitch attitude, oh god, let's turn these on. Yeah, if you're not at right pitch attitude, then it's going to take you longer to get to acceleration phase. But you know, conversely, if you over the pitch, if you pitch too high, then you get there a little bit quicker. But then you've got a danger of speed decaying. So, right, it seems a bit bumpy. I've got the belts on, and hang on, you should have been 7.6. Thank you, 7.6. Let's have a quick look at this arrival. So I've tried to get into Luton about at least 3 times on my streams, and every single time I've tried to do it, it's not worked. And was it the last time I did it, the dog ran away, so we had to run out the house very, very quickly. And then the first time I think the PC crashed. There's another time before that I don't think it worked. There's always something going wrong. Right, so Cat 1, 2 and 3, NDB, let's approach 2.5, that's what we're going to need because we may need minimums for an auto land. Arrival, I can't remember what it was, was it Barmy? Rinnis, that was what it was, wasn't it? Yeah. So, Rinnis, Easy up here, Zagu. Yeah. Are we going to be doing that? I'd be very surprised if we do that. There's the initial approach from Zagu. That's for 07 anyway. There we go, that's it. Ground charts. Stands. I think that's all I need. Airport charts. That one stands. 42 and 40, something else was closed, wasn't it? So which one? That's over here. I'm going to use them. We'll be up here somewhere. It stands 1 to 9, I would imagine. I'll have not that one. I'll have approach from Zagso. God, this is convoluted. I mean, what are you bloody avoiding here? Is there some nuclear power station there or something? I don't know. Or is it bloody Prime Minister's palace, which he's got on fucking expenses? There was the rest of it. Bloody cash-taking bastards. Anyway, we won't be doing that. We're doing something like Fit Me, I'd imagine. Yeah, have you seen that in the news recently? That for the very first time, politicians can claim for the Christmas parties. I mean, are you having a fucking joke? They can claim for a fucking Christmas party. So if ever I meet a bloody politician, I'm going to give them a fucking slap. They need to be lined up and fucking whipped, the whole bloody lot of them. Absolute bastards. I'll tell you what, this country would be better off run if it was bloody run by a bunch of fucking Vikings, it really would. I'm sure if my bloody work put an expensive, Christmas party, the HMRC would tell them to jog on. Must be where Greta lives, yeah. Yeah, so we can drop some things on our house while we go past, shall we? Right, there we go, 1,000 to go finally. Over the lovely German countryside. There's somewhere down there. Where's there? Where's there, Christian? Go on, aim it. Aim the airport. Gotta be somewhere, you know. Don't know what it was actually. What's that? EDVE? Don't know. Oh. Oh, what? What did you say, Angus? Right, it's been smooth enough, isn't it? So there you go, belts can go back off. Do a little break, I think, for the time being. You back, Angus? Sorry, Nightbot's being a bit of a... Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't quite know how to control Nightbot for things like that. It's fine. Yeah, did I allow it? Yeah, don't be get told off. Yeah, just ignore it. It's just Nightbot's being a twat. It's fine. You know, there's no problems this end. All right, managed speed. That's good. Let's get the cost index back in. Number 6. That's done. Alright, you all behaved. And look at these. So we've got engines are good, still got loads of oil. Bleed is fine. Pressurization is good. Electrics are good. Hydraulics good. There we go. See how the engineers have fixed our engine pump after Gav ruined it yesterday. Well, that's working fine. Fuel is good, so we've got 1800s. We've used 1800s, got 5.2, so yeah, that's about 700s, 7,000, 7 tons, which there's no leaks. And APU's not on. Conditioning here seems warm enough. Doors are good. Doors are good. Flight controls, no abnormal indications on there. Right, so let's have a quick look at a fuel check. SAS. Where are we at SAS? So hopefully we're at least on time. So we've got an extra ton plus 200, so it should be about 1200 up at SAS. So we wanted, there we go, Sarstedt. We wanted 4 tons, we should have about 5.2. There we go, look at that, see, 5.2, absolutely spot on. 24 minutes, 22 minutes, so yeah, a little bit slower than what we were predicting. If you want to drop something on Greta's half, she'd have loaded the bomb at Are you planning membership for your channel? Probably, Angus. I've got no idea how to do that. Do I need to wait to 1,000 subscribers? I don't know. There's something on YouTube which, you know, if you're going to have monetized or things like that, you've got to wait to 1,000 subscribers. So I don't really know what I'm doing with that. But I mean, yes, I would potentially. You know, I wouldn't charge a lot for things like that. You know, I'm not here to make money off people. You know, just having a bit of a sort of, you know, subscription fan base is just quite good, because at least I can sort of, you know, talk about a few things that I'd normally talk about at work. I'm ignoring the politics and everything else, but in terms of the Airbus and the training side of it, you know, we can certainly feed back a lot of information. So yeah, I mean, potentially I'll probably have something. Right, I suppose we can copy that secondary now, can't we? Because certainly not going to go back to Berlin now. Right, let's get a few weathers. Where are we going? Let's have a quick look. I don't know any of these. These are all probably grass strips, aren't they? In EDDG, that's got to be something reasonably good. What's that off to the north? I mean, what I'm hoping, if one day I could make a bit of money from it, I could actually get away with doing some streams in the evening when there's VATSIM. Because, you know, if I made a bit of money for it, the missus might actually be happy. It's like, there you go, I'm going to buy some flowers every week with it. Chance will be a fine thing. So, where we got? Let's find some decent places. Oh, there we go, Bremen. There's Kristen's up there. So let's have a look at Bremen. Amsterdam, probably a good one. Bremen, Cologne, Amsterdam. We can look at the other stuff on the other side. Go on, Christian. What's the 4-letter code for Bremen? I know Cologne's EDDK. SAS VOR is brand new. It's installed. Oh, is it? Okay, fair enough. So Cologne is 17013. Good viz. Got a cloud. Good. So that's fine. We know Cologne is good. Let's have a look at EHAM. Amsterdam is all fine, a little bit windy, but yeah, a few 995, so yeah, low QNH, fair enough. And was it EDDW? That's the one. I knew it was something like that. EDDV might be a better choice. Oh, is it? Where's EDDV? Where's Bremen? It's good viz, broken clouds. What's wrong with that? That's fine. Cat 1. Nothing wrong with that. It's perfectly usable. And this is worse outside your window, of course. Right, I'm not too worried about the others. Let's have a quick look this side. This is a butcher's of the weather. So arrival, what do we got now? So it was low vis. Ah, there we go. It's all got better. So good visibility now, scattered at 1900, 10 degrees, 987. So there we go. Don't need to worry about the auto lands. 250. That's 18. 10 degrees. 987 though, very low QNH again. Alternates, Gatwick. Oh, to be fair, Gatwick's fine. There we go, so we'd go to Gatwick normally. We got the fuel for that. So Gatwick can be good for the alternate. Have we got that in? I think we have. Yes, Gatwick's in there. Let's have a quick look at the landing distance, because Luton's a little bit shorter. I'm trying to look for things that's my left. So Luton. Yeah, so landing distance, what do we got? Runway 25 from the threshold, 2,080 metres. So yeah, 2,000 metres basically to land in, so it's not the longest runway in the world. Certainly if you wanted to get off at a hotel, it's always a bit of a squeeze. Runway 25, what's the weather been? Has it been raining? Do you know what? I can't remember. I mean, it has been raining, isn't it? It's been crap in the UK recently, so I put good because it's more likely to be a runway condition code of good. Apply the meter. That's the meter. Yeah, that's correct. Landing weight, what are we going to be? Fuel, we are 57.6 plus 3.5. What's that? 60.5, 61. Let's go 61.5. Let's go 62 because we might cut the corner as well. So now if it's 62, we're going to be well above, probably. We're going to be actually below this, but it's the most conservative. So low order brake, idle reverse, manual landing, flat fall. So even with low order brake and flat fall, we're struggling really. There you go, 2,700 metres landing distance, and we're not even really making that. I think this is a little bit excessive, to be fair. I don't know what figures they've used for this. I need to check this on the QRH, but you know, I know for a fact that low order brake and idle reverse thrust in Luton, you know, I know for a fact I can land on 2.5. You know, I could land bloody 321s in these configurations at the, you know, higher weights than this. So, yeah, I know. It's fine. Let's just have a quick look actually. So, you know, what does the landing distance say in the QRH? It'd be really interesting to have a look at this, because I'm just not sure where Phoenix are getting their data from. I'm not questioning it. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm not saying it's very accurate either. It'd be interesting to see what they've done. Right, let's get a 320. You do. And right, so landing distance without failure. So let's have a quick look at the figures here. So we've got auto brake low. I suppose, yeah, to be fair. So low and full is 1,950 metres. We're below 66 tonnes. We're not doing a speed correction. We're about 500, so maybe that's 35 there. For the height above the sea level. No tailwinds. There's no temperature deviation. What's the runway slope? Is it up or downhill? So we've got 508s, so it's actually uphill, so that's fine, don't need to worry about that. No thrust reversers. So the reference distance should be 19785-ish. Now, to be fair, I suppose that's not far off, is it really? So maybe the data's not too far, but yeah, I still think it's 2000. See, I'm not quite sure where this has come from. It's got a headwind as well, so I mean that would, not that we got a correction for this, but that would actually take it off. Yeah, interesting. Oh, now what's Nightbot doing? Welcome to Luton. What are you on about? How do we turn Nightbot off? Go away. I need to have a command which I can just say, you know, bugger off. Anyway, to satisfy the EFB, there we go. Let's go medium order brake, idle reverse thrust, flap, full. Let's just do that. At least it keeps it consistent with the kind of the data we've got here. Right, have we got any controllers on? Probably not. No. No, it's very quiet, isn't it, on that? It's been very, very quiet recently. Right, that's all good still. So tomorrow I'm going to do the 310 flight. Well, that's the plan anyway. Let's do the Airbus 310 flight. No problem with running full flap, low order brakes, and that's 2000, especially no change manual braking. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's... In fact, let me have a quick look. Let me just see. What does Fly Smart say? That's what we can really have a look at. Right, 320. Where are we going? Berlin. Luton. There we go. Let's have a look, see what Fly Smart says. So in flight, 1way25. Let's see if we can put these figures in. 25018. 10 degrees. Low QNH 987. I mean, the QNH doesn't help, but let's go good. Anti-ice off. And we said 62 tons. Full. Right, there we go. Let's have a look, see what's that. Low order brake and no reverse. So, yeah, so there we go. So the landing distance in FlySmart actually gives me about 1600 metres landing distance there, and then the factored landing distance is 1900 metres. So FlySmart does give slightly better figures. But you know, FlySmart is arguably better what the QH says as well. So there we go. We'll stick with this. Medium idle reverse is fine. It's just, you know, it looks better on here then. But we know, I mean, I think we know just from experience that we can probably do it. You can do max manual brakes, but max order brake is not available for landing. If in some sort of emergency, would be able to enable max. No, I don't even think you can. You can't even arm it. No, there you go. See, yeah, you can't even turn it on. So it recognises when the aircraft is in the air that this switch actually doesn't actually function. You can set the parking brake though. That's one thing you can do. You can set that. You will get an ECAM. There you go. Ping. Parking brake on. There we go. It says, "Come on, dickheads. You know, don't want this on when you landed." But yeah, you can do that. I'm sure there's been some pilot that's probably landed with it on, or there's been some sort of failure. I know there's definitely been brake failures and brake locks and stuff. You know, but I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. Alright, let's have a quick look at the arrival. Again, quite busy flight. But yeah, no, tomorrow I'm going to try and plan to do a 310 flight. I'm going to try and do it across the pond as well. Talk about all about ETOPS and North Atlantic tracks and this, that and the other. And I've got no experience doing that, so I will be talking a load of bollocks. But I will try and talk what I can. The plan is to take off by latest 10 o'clock in the morning, because I need to take the dog out for a walk at 3:30, so that gives me 5.5 hours. So I'm trying to plan something that's about a 5.5 hour flight time. I'm going to go from one place to another. I won't say where it is just yet because that'll ruin the surprise, but yeah, I'm sort of trying to do a 5.5 hour flight to go across the Atlantic on the 310, which could be quite interesting. So it'll be the first time I've done probably a long haul flight. And of course it'll be the first time, you know, because we can't really do it. I mean, we can sort of do it in the the 320, but you know, we've got to really load up the fuel, and it's a bit more. It's not quite as comfortable. Watching one of your videos last night, you said you always have random failures turned on. Curious how often you get a failure. Yeah, Gav did the, you know, Dark wanted him to do it, so yeah, I've always got it on config random. Yeah, I've got it all on realistic random. The reason obviously all unrealistic. So, I can deal with that generally because I've got the paperwork, the checklists and the QRH, etc. We've got all the documentation where I can run for any failures. In terms of how often I get the failures, not very often at all, actually, funnily enough. I'm trying to think, have I had any failures pop up that have been random in all the streams I've done without triggering something? I don't think I have, Angus, to be honest. Yeah, I don't think I've had any random ones come up that I can remember. No, I've heard a lot of people have said, was it somebody on the Discord last night was saying there's a fuel pump, fuel pump failed, and they got it as on push or something, and I mean that's a sensor tank. I've turned that off, but there we go. Let's turn. If you get like a right-hand tank pump, there you go, bing. Say you had a right-hand tank pump fail. This is ECAM fuel right-hand tank pump 1 low pressure because the pump has failed. We've got another pump, so I'm fairly sure you can dispatch. I need to check the MEL, but it's not a major issue. And again, it's no major problem at all. It really isn't. So if one pump fails, you've got the other one, and even if the other one goes, it's not going to shut the engine down because we got something called a gravity fuel pump situation. And I'll just get the QRH up. So I'm completely going off on a tangent here of what I should be doing, but it's the emergency fuels, gravity fuel feed in there. We go. So even if both pumps failed, the engine's still running. The engine's fine. It's like okay, well, the pump's not working, but the pumps are sat. This is a bit of the wrong diagnostic sort of. So it's a bit of a wrong sort of diagram really. The fuel pumps are not at the top of the wing. This isn't like there's a top, there's the bottom. The fuel pumps, we can get a nice close-in zoom. There we go. The fuel pumps are here. So there's a couple of sort of strips here, and then there's a couple of sort of panels, and these are the actual fuel pumps. So they're actually sitting at the bottom of the wing, the sort of low points in the wing. So you imagine you sort of see that's the bottom. So this is quite physically the lowest part of the wing you can get into. For the obvious reason that then the fuel can just sit at the bottom of the wing and just go through the pumps. And the pumps aren't physically working to sort of bring the fuel up through the sort of fuel. What they call it, fuel plumbing gallery type thing. But the pressure differential, because the engine's spinning, there's a pressure differential which is effectively just sucking all the fuel up anyway, which is what gravity fueling is. But it's not much of a problem. There's a couple of sort of caveats to it with the QRH, but generally it's a pretty straightforward procedure. And what's the big one? It says so avoid negative G, which is obvious. That way the fuel doesn't go to the top of the wing. So if the current flight level with flight time above flight level 300 is more than 30 minutes, if flight level 300 flight time above is less than 30 minutes, right, this is the max flight level. So right, so yeah, so we haven't been at flight level above flight level 300 for more than 30 minutes, I don't think. So our flight level, so we would actually descend to flight level 300 in this situation because we haven't been above flight level 300 for more than 30 minutes, as far as I can remember. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. So some of these failures that people have, they put them on the Discord, got this, got that, and it's actually not a major issue. You just go, oh, it's okay, we can go about, go with it. Carry on. So yeah, I don't get failures very often, but I do see a lot of other people say, oh, they've had failures, and I don't know if that's just a bug with a sim, whether they've turned something on. I don't quite know, so it's difficult to see really, because I don't know what their settings are, I don't know what they've done to the aircraft, and obviously if you don't quite set the aircraft up in maybe not that you really need to do it in the correct order, but if you've done something, I should be on below, shouldn't it, by now? There's something which can ping up. You turn the predicted wind shear off, and you get predicted wind shear off there, which as reminders. So there's always certain things which you can manipulate in terms of controls, which can stimulate an ECAM. I'm trying to think what else could be turned off. You know, IDGs, you know, people haven't got a clue what an IDG is. You know, an IDG is the integrated drive generator. You know, you turn that off, you're disconnecting the generator basically from the engine. It was bad juju. So you don't really want to be doing that, but you know, you basically lose a gen if you do that. So, you know, some people press things, they don't quite know what they're doing. You know, I can turn the engine 2 pump off, you know, this is what Easyjetsimpilot. So again, hydraulic yellow engine 2 pump low pressure, so that's basically what Gav had. But we see the PTU's taken over. So, you know, in terms of sort of failures, it's not a major issue because, you know, they've still got the free hydraulic systems. You know, the big thing is what I was talking to Gav about yesterday is, you know, what's the worst case? What happens if then, you know, we've got one thing, if the PTU fails, you know, which we can do, you know, turn that off. Imagine the PTU's failed, and now we're down to 2 hydraulics. We've lost a hydraulic system. So, you know, we can see there's sort of, you know, this is now, right, yellow's gone amber. So, you know, we don't have any yellow hydraulic system at all. So there's not really much in terms of what we need to do. And obviously, if this had been like a genuine failure, it would probably say, turn the engine pump off or turn the PTU off to stop them overheating. Because, you know, they can overheat. Where's me? There it is. So, you know, we've got overheats. There's not. It doesn't actually say overheat, does it? It comes up with a fault light, but it says overheat. And we can probably. Oh, I won't do that because it's just a bit of a pain in the ass. But we can probably simulate that. But yes, you know, now you're down to sort of a bit more of a difficult situation where you've lost a hydraulic system. So, you know, there's a couple of things that have affected this. There's nothing on the ECAM. There's a secondary there, which is a flight control issue. So if we clear that, we can see the flight controls. So we can see that the yellow hydraulic system controls 2 pairs of spoilers, so we've lost pair 4 and 2. There's also some, what they call them, not accumulators, can't remember the name of them, but the yellow system, there's, you know, the pitch trim is controlled by the green and the yellow, so we've still got the green system powering the stabilizer, which is fine, and the same way with the rudders, we've still got the green and the blues powering the rudders, that's fine, and the elevator, we've effectively lost, I think, you know, one servo, that's it, so we've lost the one servo for the right elevator, but the blues still controlling that elevator, so, you know, there's a few things there, and with the yellow as well, we would, there we go, that's status system, so we've lost a few things here. So landing distance procedure, because obviously we've lost a couple of systems, which is then affecting our stopping ability. So we've lost nose wheel steering, which is a bit of a problem getting off the runway. We've lost the reverser as well, a couple of spoilers. So, you know, we would put this in the landing distance of our EFB. Where we go, hydraulics and yellow system low pressure, which is basically what it is. So it says max manual braking applied due to failure calculation. Okay, fair enough. Now, you know, I don't quite understand it says max manual braking because we still got the green system, so we'd still have normal braking. We've lost the alternate braking, but we've still got the normal braking system. Where's the wheels? Yeah, nose wheel steering. We've still got the accumulator, however, which can help us. So yeah, sort of. Failure management it's a bit of a black art, really. The more you do it, the sort of better you get at it. But you know, you can still whistle. Flaps are slow, so you'd have to configure maybe a little bit earlier. But you still Cat 3 singles, so you can still auto land. So there's no problem there. I'd love to tutorial on SOP checklist personally. Made a condensed version of that sim document, but that's things I understand. Yeah, far Kirby. I mean, the checklists are pretty straightforward. In real life, is it possible that you had an unlucky period failures popping out every flight, such as some random failures? Not really, Vitox. I mean, the people say when they get their commands, you know, it all goes wrong for the first few weeks when they get their commands. Oh, bollocks, don't do that. I don't remember it to be that bad, to be honest. But I think, you know, when you become a brand new captain, you know, it seems like everything's going wrong. But I think the difference is now you've got to deal with it, where previously you didn't have to deal with it. We've got to start going down soon, haven't we? So yeah, I think you're just exposed to a little bit more. And, you know, you just have to think a bit more on your feet. But yeah, it's Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's always like failures. There's always things like you get to the aircraft. There's always something broken, maybe. But could you steer a 310 on the ground with differential braking and asymmetric thrust? Yes, you could, Christian, potentially. It's not very easy in the Phoenix. I have tried it, and it's not that easy at all. I mean, I might try it actually on the grounds today, potentially with no failures. But yes, potentially you can. You can use differential braking. I have spoken to a few guys that said they've tried it and said it wasn't actually that difficult, but I don't know. I'm not convinced I'd really want to do it. Right, anyway, Rinnis 220, 180 at DC, 140 off Jez. Let's have a quick look at these, make sure they're all fine. Constraints on as well, that usually helps. Right, 220 Rinnis. I need to be a bit more zoomed in. 180, 140, 250, 220 speed limit point there, and then round the hours is back to Zadgo. 80 Zadgo. And then all the way down here to Fit Me. Right, well, I'm not probably going to do a lot of this. I'm just going to go, and interestingly enough, it doesn't actually have that. So it's got Zadgo, and then yeah, it's just got a straight line. Is there a transition in there potentially? Yeah, that's probably it. Pointless because I'm not going to do this anyway. Oh, there we go. There's the stupid transition. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do, just to save time, is I'm going to go sort of, which is probably what we do in real life. Somebody's not busy. I'm just going to go Uddies and down to Fit Me, I think. Well, I will do this. I'll put this in a second, just in case ATC come online. Fit Me. Oh, where are you? Hello, buddy. My dog's coming in. Make sure I'm still alive. Yeah, I'm still here, mate. Don't worry. Right, that would do. So that cut that corner off very nicely, and also help with the descent planning as well. There you go. That's what I'm going to do because I'm a rebel. Alright, let's get the minimums in, don't we? So let's get the performance all done, so I'm not really looking at the chat, but speaking about DG on vid yesterday, went to logistics. Have you refused dangerous... Oh, refused dangerous goods. Have I refused dangerous goods? I mean, to be fair, I've only really worked with a couple of airlines that have done dangerous goods, but the dangerous goods have never been, I say, that dangerous, I suppose, in brackets, because obviously a lot of dangerous goods you can't take on a commercial passenger aircraft anyway. Some dangerous goods are only fit for flights on specific cargo aircraft. 708. So really the exposure to some dangerous goods on a passenger flight are usually relatively minimal anyway, because it's a passenger flight. So no, I don't think I've ever refused dangerous goods that I can remember. But then I've never really had proper dangerous goods that we might get sort of or people might get on cargo aircraft. So yeah, I suppose that's the big difference. No, not that I can remember, Angus. To be honest. But I mean, it's a pain in the arse. The dangerous goods bloody course that you got to go through. I think we had to do a little bit of dangerous goods training for my current airline. Not that we take it, but it's more of the recognition. We have to be able to recognise when we got dangerous goods on board. What the procedures are. Because there's certain written procedures within our ops manual of what we do when we recognise and report them, etc. How we handle it as well. I mean, the cabin crew really have to know. So yeah, it's although we don't carry it, we still need to recognise certain things about the dangerous goods. Right, who's that? 3-2, so he's below us, going the other way. Yeah, it's not really, like I said, you know, when you fly passenger aircraft, you're not exposed to the same sort of level of risk, I don't think. But that's not to say you might not find dangerous goods on board. I mean, passengers can carry anything on board that they don't declare, and you know, sometimes they're ignorant to the fact that it might be a dangerous good. So, you know, we still have to recognise when we might get something. It's definitely getting a bit cloudier, isn't it? Sort of more like what it probably is, although it's bright blue sky where I am, so it's interesting. Don't know where this is. Somewhere over Holland, I think. Was that Amsterdam? Ah, it's Amsterdam. Ah, it's a schmuck and a pancake. There we go. Straight over the top of Amsterdam. So yeah, we're going down in a second. What's that? About 5 miles. So if you lost the blue hydraulic, would that cause any issues if the pressure between the green hydraulic didn't trigger? No, the blue hydraulic arc is effectively independent. So let's have a look. So yeah, you see the little line there. The PTU only it only transfers power between the yellow system and the green system. And there's a little, you can see the little line, which is sort of signifying it's sort of bypassing the blue. So it's not connected to the blue at all. So yeah, we can switch the blue off. You know, and then that goes, but the PTUs are unaffected. Yeah, we know that. And the blue system is not a major issue. There's also, with these hydraulic systems, there's also fuel penalties. So in the QRH you'll have a fuel penalty. So anytime you get an electrical problem, a flight control issue, or a hydraulic problem, you've basically got a fuel penalty, and landing gear obviously, because effectively what's happening now is, probably won't be able to see it, but yeah, blue system controls pairs 3 of the spoilers, and there's a couple of servos here on the ailerons, you know, rudder, etc. But I don't think we'll see it. We may do. Oh, where's my wing view? There we go. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think it is. So I think that's, yeah, that's pair number 3. But with the wing, don't forget, you know, basic sort of principles of the lift and the air, the wind, the relative airflow going underneath the wing and the relative airflow going over the wing. So there's a lower pressure on top of the wing. So what happens to things that aren't stuck down when, you know, they're exposed to lower pressures? They all get sucked up. So because there's no hydraulic pressure now controlling this spoiler, and it's in an area of lower pressure, because it's not physically stuck down anymore, you know, being commanded down, it's effectively free to do whatever it wants. So because there's lower pressure, the spoiler will get sucked up a little bit into the low pressure sort of airstream. So because it's getting sucked up, obviously it's causing a little bit of drag. So, you know, there is a fuel penalty for that. It's like 1%. It's absolutely nothing really. You know, on this sort of flight, you know, 1% is going to be nothing on our fuel burn. But yeah, there is a very small fuel penalty on things like that. But yeah, it doesn't really affect anything like the blues. You know, it doesn't control any brakes, doesn't control like reverses or anything like that. So, you know, there's not a major issue with the blue system going at all. You know, it's out of all 3 systems, it's probably the sort of easiest to deal with. You know, we can see on the status, you know, just what it controls. So, you know, spoiler 3, cat 3 dual, and that's about it. You know, quick landing distance procedure. Slats are a little bit slow, again with cat 3 single, but you know, it's still auto land capable. So yeah, it's not a majoring. No, the blue isn't able to use the PTU at all. So yeah, the blue is quite independent. It's quite sort of isolated. So, you know, it's sort of a good thing and a bad thing at the same time, that, you know, if it does fail, you can't really recover it. Well, you can. I mean, you've got the rat. So, you know, I suppose that's the, you know, that is the redundancy. If the blue fails, or the blue electric pump, because it's driven off an electric pump, not an engine pump, you know, if that fails, you would then, you've got a rat here. So you've got 2 rat buttons. You've got one there and one there. That one deploys the rats and engages the emergency generator, and this one deploys the rats, but it only engages the effectively, it's a sort of, it's a ram air turbine that drives another electric pump. So we can deploy the rats that way, and then that will then control or pressurize the blue system, but it would keep the emergency generator offline here. So yeah, if we had the blue hydraulic problem, we would do this one, but it would keep the emergency generator offline. If we had a major electrical problem, then we'd use this button here, and then that powers the rats, that powers the emergency generator as well. So It's tough to learn. Well, I don't know. I think hydraulics is probably easier than the bloody electrics or pneumatics. I hate the pneumatic system, the bleed and the pneumatic system. And you talk about what is it? Where's the packs? You know, the packs. You know, the inlet valves, the temperatures, temperature controls. I mean, I hate the bleed system. You know, that is a lot more hard work than hydraulics. Hydraulics is pretty straightforward. You've got 3 systems. It's hydraulic fluid. There's various backups here, there, and everywhere, and it's pretty straightforward. So yeah, I'd rather do hydraulics than anything else. So if you lost the blue, would it cause any issues if the pressure between the gradient didn't trigger the PTU? Well, the PTU wouldn't trigger dark, so if you lost the blue, the PTU wouldn't do anything because the engine pumps are still providing 3000 psi for both the green and the yellow system. So yeah, this is quite independent. So you know, sort of ignore the PTU. If we lost the electric pump for the blue system, we'd use the rat. Then if the rat didn't work, then we've lost the blue system. So you know, it's not a major issue at the end of the day. How many weeks does vacation pilots get a year? Working hours a month. Working hours a month. I don't know. It depends really. It depends on your role, position. Trainers probably do a bit more. Normal line captains do similar. Senior first officers don't do a lot because they got to pay more and they're just lazy bastards. So, you know, second officers. You know, it depends on the airlines. You know, they work a bit harder. So yeah, I don't know. Hours a month, I don't know, anywhere between about 50 and 80 hours a month normally on average. Vacations, I think we get about 25 days a year to use, so you can use that generally however you want. Right, 220, that's the first one. Let's start looking at going down. There we go, and that sense, and 220 blue. Yeah, I try to use a lot of my leave to sort of help my roster, if that makes sense. So I sort of create my own little roster using my leave, which is good, which is what I like to do. But you know, there's loads of ways you can do things. Right, so let's have a quick look at the weather. See if there's any updates. Been very, very quiet on VATSIM, isn't it? There's no one there at all. Have we still got any ATC? Probably not. Oh, North Atlantic. Oh, they're on. That's interesting. Oh, that'd be useful for tomorrow, because I bet they won't be bloody on tomorrow, will they? Stansted. Nobody goes to Stansted anymore. It's just Ryanair chumps. So, 250 at 16, so wind's still pretty good. 10 degrees still, and 988, so QNH has gone up a little bit. Nine eight eight 250. I was saying something about the flare today. You know, some people saying, "Oh, do we do this round out thing at 50 feet?" We don't generally do that. And when you've got sort of reasonably decent headwinds, you know, you don't need to flare too early because you've got the headwind sort of helping you. You know, sort of 20 to 30 feet flare height is usually pretty good. Would you be able to use to reliably practice coming? Yeah, you could, Angus. I think you could. If you knew what failures you're going to get, you can easily program them in. Now, no, getting a bit close to somebody. Let's go. Right, heading 5 miles is a little bit close. Didn't actually see him. Yeah, you could certainly use it. I mean, the Phoenix definitely, because it's got the failures. Use it to look at the ECAM. You know, practice your failure management in terms of, you know, concentrate on the big things: aviate, navigate, communicate. You know, make sure that the aircraft's flying. You know, nice and safe with MSA and everything else. You know, what you can't do, which is a bit frustrating. It's not frustrating, but it's just something which you can't really do. Is obviously, unless you're with somebody like a sim partner, which, you know, is probably unlikely to happen. You know, you're not then really practicing the sort of multi-crew environment. But you know, certainly, you know, it's very good to sort of look at failures and think. Oh, you know, I was thinking about it last night actually when Gav said when he had his hydraulic problem. I said, you know, what's the worst case? You know, you've lost the yellow system. You know, PTU's taken over, great. But you know, what happens now if the PTU, not the PTU fails, but what happens now if engine one pump fails? You know, is the PTU still going to take over? Now, I'm fairly sure it doesn't, because it can't. It's not powerful to power both at the same system. It just overheats. So if you lost the engine one pump as well, you know, you're basically now in a sort of dual hydraulic loss, you know, green and yellow. You know, and I was thinking last night, you know, do you lose the autopilot? And again, like, I'm fairly sure you do, but you know, I can't remember off the top of my head. So you know, you can use the sim that way to go, oh, does this happen? Does that happen? I can't quite remember. And I think Phoenix have got this model pretty well, where if you gave yourself a green and yellow hydraulic system, you know, via failing the engine pumps, you know, the automatics would probably disconnect as well. So you know, you can just sort of reassure yourself that, oh yeah, that is what happens in that particular failure. So you know, it is very good. It's a very powerful tool. Very, very good. All you need to know is the sort of failures you're going to get into the sim, and of course some people know it, some people don't. You know, when you're in the sort of training department, you get to know these things a bit more than what other people know. Oh, so somebody else is going to bloody Luton. Oh, God. Ryan, is that you again? Honestly, he has a habit of, you know, he's like a bloody barnacle. He's always next to me. Right, we'll give him the space because he's technically ahead of us. Let's slow down to 250 knots. Let's do a quick Unicom chat as well, as people know. Luton traffic, EZ49 Tango Lima is on the Luton arrival, the Rinnis 1 November for runway 25. We'll probably be taking a shortcut after sort of Udis to go to the centre fix runway 25. Yeah, right, have I missed anything else? Gotta get the groceries. Fair enough, Christian. Could you steer the fridge? Yeah. Anyway, right, I think we sort of really briefed. Weather's a bit crap, but it's fine. It's Cat 1 aircraft is fine, no failures, no TAMs, nothing really to affect us, and the threats are relatively straightforward. MSA 4000 is nice and safe, it's well above that. The route is in. We've discussed the route through here, cut the corner for the centre fix at 25. Flight plan is all up to date. We've got the full arrival in the secondary if we need it. India Lima Juliet is the ILS. Which it is. DME's co-located with that. That's fine. Missed approach if we need to do it. Climb to 3000 and then a left off to the east. Progress. Let's have the. Oh, not that one. 25. That's in performance. I've been chatting so much I haven't actually really briefed anything, but that's all in. Managed in the descents. Weather's in there. Config full. Medium water brake we've gone. Minimums, Cat 1 minimums, that's done. Fuel, there we go, got loads of extra fuel. Gatwick's the alternate, 2.4 is the CNR, we got 1.3, which is kind of what we were anticipating, an extra ton plus a contingency. Secondary is just the full arrival. Right, so I'm not too sure where Ryan's gone. No way we've gone into a VS either. There we go, managed descent. Busted. Yeah, see, I know, Ryan. I know your sort. As soon as I see you on the VAT scope, I'm like, ah, yes, there we go. Yeah, so I've slowed down to 250. If you want to go ahead of me, I don't know, because I think you're slightly ahead. I'll let the British Airways go ahead of me. How kind am I? Doing fine for time anyway. I've got 40 minutes until I need to be on the ground. So, well, that's the other thing I wanted to do. Let me see if I can get the recording software up. Right, so we hopefully can record the landing. Hey Christian, hope your groceries are fine. Right, so after 220180, so let's probably missed the descent a bit. There we go. 180 first item percent, 180 blue. And I'll tell you what, we can actually put, let's just put it in managed. There we go. 180 is magenta, and we'll just keep to the constraints. So there we go, we go down here and to go 140 or Jez, off Jez, and then Udi's final fix. No, I'm not going to waste our time with this bit. Ice not detected. Well, it shouldn't be detected. I shouldn't even have that aircraft that does that. It did have LDAV as well earlier. Why hasn't it? Right, airframe should have that. Shouldn't have that, shouldn't have that, should have that, should have that, shouldn't have that. That's done, that's done. Cabin, done, done, done. RA call out should have 100, should have 5. See why? It never saves these things. I don't understand why it never ever saves it. It really annoys me. I came up with a warm pillow for my lap. It's called a cat. Yeah, my dog's just ignoring me. He's downstairs with his mum. He's very much a mummy's boy. He comes upstairs occasionally just to make sure I'm still alive, but then that's about it. That's about all he does. Right, I think that's all done. Yeah. Right, I might get the belts on just because it's a little bit cloudy, maybe a bit turbulent. So this is where it's sort of in icing conditions. So what we would do now is, where's me? No, I've done. That's it. So we'll be looking at the ice probe detector, and we'll be trying to find if there's any sort of visible ice accumulation, which is a really good indication of build-up of ice. We'd be doing that, and we'd also be looking at the wing. So we go, can I see anything? You'll sort of angle me head. There we go. So try and look at the leading edge of the wing. There's sort of, it almost looks like there's a light sort of build up there. I think that's just the sim. But if we think there is any ice, we'll just put the wing anti-ice on. And then, we would just see this sort of, I think it was actually, because there was like a line of, I wonder if we can do that again. There was definitely like a line of stuff, of ice, which I think was building up. I'm following that full with the bit all around. How's it, Zagos? Feel free to zip in front of me. Okay, yeah, no worries, I will do. Ryan, if you're doing that, that's fine. Just because I'm a bit more time constrained, so I'll go ahead of. I mean, you're ahead of me now, so I'll just keep up my speed. Yeah, you're just over 5 miles. What speed are you doing? Out the way, out of interest, mate. If you go like 270 or something, then you'll have, you'll be a bit faster. Yeah, maybe it might have just been my imagination with that ice. And no, still not got any ATC online. Yeah, never mind. Never mind. 270. Yeah, you just keep 270. I'll keep it 250, and then you get a bit of separation. We've got 250 there off Jez anyway. What's the landing time? 13. So yeah, in about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Yeah, I keep forgetting to plug that thing in. Oh well. Right, what's the platform? That fit me. That one. Fit me is 3,000 feet. Yeah, that's fine. Right, you can have train your side, buddy, as soon as I got the weather. Not that it's showing anything. Shame we weren't going into Stansted Town. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's... This thing, EasyJet don't go to a Stansted anymore, do they? They stopped. I'm not flying a stinky Ryanair aircraft. I mean, not only would it have to be a stinky Ryanair bloody colours, it'd have to be a stinky 737, so... No. Not doing that, sorry. I have my standards, and I'm not going to drop them that low. Yeah, leave a horrible sort of bitter taste in my mouth. Yeah, a little bit bright on the FCU, that's a bit better. So these up. Turn that up a bit. I was in the 310 yesterday looking around for like the lights, because I sort of set myself up in dark, and I was just like, where the fucking hell are the lights? I was like, I couldn't find them anywhere, like the dome lights and the overhead lights and everything. I was just like, God, it's no wonder it's so bloody hard. It's, you know, all the switches are in random places. Do I have the torch? Aha, yeah, so I've still got the torch assigned, so we can still look around in that. If we needed to. Direct fit me to 3,000 feet, that sounds good to me. The only thing I need to keep a track of is, are we going over the top of Stansted? There is Stansted. Yeah, I'll delay it a little bit. I don't want to get too close to Stansted, otherwise they'll have a go at me. Yeah, if I go direct to fit me now, I'm going straight over the top of Stansted at 3,000 feet. I don't think Tower would appreciate that. Probably, yeah, busting their airspace. See if Approach are online, then I could just speak to them. So we go direct to fit me, please. When entering the approach phase, always ask me to enter destination site. I think it's just a bug, Ryan. I think it's just there's just something in the Phoenix where it's just detecting something. Whether it's using an older wind or something, I wouldn't worry about it. You know, so long as all these fields are done, you're fine. So, yeah, don't worry too much. I think it's just a small little bug with Phoenix. Turn you down a bit as well. So it still doesn't look like there's any ice. See, that looks like there is a line of ice, that sort of white layer there. So is that ice, or is it maybe just the colour of the wing? May just be me imagining things. Is that? No, it's definitely changing. I think. Is that slowly disappearing? Is that ice? I don't know. It's hard to tell. Oh well, it's on. Black Friday sound on Contralaps. Okay. That's the Brussels airport for. Well, that's not too bad. Yeah. So I don't mind buying scenery when it's on offer. You know, because I think I'm getting a bit of a bargain then. You know, I'm not spending like 20 quid for a bloody airport, which, you know, when you look at it, Black Friday sales or any other time of the year, you know, it'd be like, oh, we've taken 5 quid off. I think, well, if you can take 5 quid off now, you can afford to take 5 quid off at any point. So yeah, I only generally buy it when it's on offer. Alright, still no ILS just yet, probably still a little bit far away. Well, we've got 56 miles to go. Yeah, Ryan's still ahead of us, 10 miles, that's good. Right, if Ryan's 10 miles, I'm going to speed up to 270. Increases the TAT a little bit. So it helps with the icing, so TAT will increase, -4, -3, that'll probably go to. There you go, -3, so that just combats a little bit of the icing. Yeah, when's payday? Payday's about a week, isn't it? Let's have a look. Yeah, well, it's a week today. Excellent. Payday's a week today. Perfect. Yeah, so yeah. As long as it's on offer for another week, I'll get it then. I've spent quite a bit of money. I've probably spent about 60 quid this year on the sim, which I'm not going to say too loud. Just in case her indoors bloody is listening around the corner. Yeah, I've spent a bit of money. But she doesn't know. She doesn't need to know. So, yeah. Right, 3.7, so we're using a bit of fuel here. What's the fuel? It's a bit of heavy rain. 3.5, still well above CNR. Oh yeah, well into it. So I'm sure this would be painting, you know, yellow or amber now, probably on the weather radar, from the sounds of it. Heavy rain, yeah. So there you go, Gavin. This is how you look after your aircraft without breaking it. Yeah, say that to me again once I land. It's only made to push annual sales last minute. Yeah, probably. It's very contentious over here as well. Like, we have a lot of sort of news articles saying they look at the sale price in Black Friday sales, and you know they're quite savvy actually. The consumer people over here in the UK, they're very clever because they look at the prices of things over the course of the year, and there's websites that look at this as well, which is usually pretty good. But when you actually look at the history of the prices for consumer items in the UK, a lot of people notice that the prices go down during the summer. So the RRP, or the recommended retail price, is this value, and then as it gets closer to Black Friday sales, it goes back up again to something ridiculous, and then on Black Friday sales it goes back down to the RRP that it was like 4 or 5 months ago. So it's like you're not actually saving anything on Black Friday sale. They've just artificially increased it prior to the Black Friday sales, only to put it on offer to the same price it was a few months beforehand. So, you know, they think, oh, it's a great sale, everyone's making, you know, saving a load of money. It's like, no, they're not. They're just not paying as much as what they would have been, you know, a month ago. But it's still just as cheap as it was 4 or 5 months ago. So, yeah, it's a bit cynical over here. You know, retailers aren't, you know, they think they're being clever, but actually I think the savvy consumer is actually a bit more cleverer than what most retail people are. And when you can track prices of things, you think, well, you know, you're not actually really saving that much money. Right, Outstar, 14,000. So how many track miles have we got? 51 miles, 14. So yeah, we need that. So we're going to start descending soon. So why is Stansted not appearing on my... Now there it is, just outside the range. So I mean, this is why there's got this full arrival, it's to keep you sort of separated from Stansted over here somewhere. But we can dive it down at the last minute. Cambridge, Stansted. Yes, we should keep nicely well away from them. Yeah, it's very sort of fake and I don't know, just, yeah, it's like cynical is the only word I can usually sort of explain. Right, well, let's start going down. So let's manage descent, thrust idle descent. Let's set the QNH is, what did we say, 988 was it? So set QNH 988 is set on cross chats and 3000 blue. And we'll do the approach checks as well. Where's my checklist? So approach checks, Barrow ref 988 hectopascals is set. Seatbelts are on. Minimum, we've got a Barrow of 708 feet. Auto brake is medium, and the EFBs are stowed and disconnected. Right, still on guard, good, that's the main thing. Just make sure I'm not conflicting with anybody else.
Stands for traffic right now, 1 Mike Delta holding Romeo 1 ready to departure runway 26.
Good, there's somebody ready to go, I think. Was that from Gatwick? I think it was Gatwick.
Stands for traffic right now, 1
Or Stansted.
Delta lining up 22 Romeo 1.
Right, so keep an eye on him because somebody's taken off from Stansted, so just make sure he's not going to get in the way. Ah, the weather's cleared up, so we've gone through that worst weather, that was behind us. Looks like it's clearing up now, which is nice. Market prices are more cheaper after last update. There's huge discounts. Yeah, I've got marketplace Orbex. I never see. Although actually Orbex do have a lot of offers, but you just never know they're on offer unless you click on them. All right, there's Cambridge. You know, that's what I like about marketplaces. They've got a specific sale sort of portal, haven't they?
That's traffic right now, 1 Mike Delta taking off runway 22, collecting 2 Echo departure.
You know, yeah, you've definitely got to search out the sales in Orbex. So how are we doing? We've got about 6,000 feet to lose. Fit me's in 20 miles. Good, that's fine. Bit of a headwind. Lovely. So let's approach. Activate the approach phase. Luton traffic, easy 48 Tango Lima is turning direct to fit me to the north, and for the ILS approach runway 25 to 73,000 feet. So what's fit me? So we've got a few miles, got about 3 miles. So if we're about sort of 220 knots around fit me, that should work. Flat 1. And slowing down to 180 to be about 180 and flat 2 by the top drop, which is 7.7 miles away. Alright, there's that traffic departing Stansted. Just going to make sure he stays out of the way. And I think that's him anyway. Well, that might be him. That's probably him. I don't know who that is. That's somebody that's above us and descending. Might be another arrival. Yeah, it is. It's somebody else coming into Luton. So hopefully he won't turn towards us. Hopefully he'll give us a separation. Can't even see him, to be honest. Where is he? Alright, just off the left, 2,000 feet. Somewhere up here. Alright, let's just keep going down. Thrust out at open descent. So Luton's going to be over here somewhere. Another guy landing. Yeah, I've got him, Ryan. Cheers, thanks. Brussels, Tromsø and Liverpool. Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, I need Liverpool actually. There's one scenery I don't have. So, yeah, one I could actually put. I'd have pretty much. I think I'd have every single EasyJet base if I had Liverpool. I'd have most main UK airports actually. I've got Gatwick, got Heathrow, got Luton, got Manchester, got Birmingham, got Edinburgh, got Glasgow, got Newcastle. Don't think I've got Aberdeen or Inverness. Don't have Isle of Man, don't have Liverpool, got Jersey. Got Bristol. So yeah, I've got quite a few. Right, start slowing down. Do we need the anti-ice? 10 degrees, tiny little bit of moisture to go through. Can we see Luton? Somewhere out here. Is it over here? I think it might be over here. Right, India Lima Juliet's identified, that's good. Alright, close up lot blue, Cat 3 Jewel AP 1 and 2. Luton traffic easy, 49 Tango Lima is approaching fit me for the ILS runway 25. Right, flat 1, SeaJets, flat 1. There we go, there's Luton. Right, 180 knots, what we said. Lock start. Oh, let's do the replay. Yeah, let's record that. Right, replay started. And let's go flap 2. SeaJets, flap 2. And glide slope start, and the Mr. approach altitude is set. Let's go 160. Oh. Right, will I beat 100? Was it 105 yesterday on the landing rate? Probably not. Not in Luton, I won't beat that. I haven't got a lot of time to dick around in Luton. Got to get it down. Busy all of a sudden. Yeah, I just need ATC, don't we? It's just a shame ATC's not online. Have we got anybody at the last minute? Probably not. No, never mind. If any ATC comes online now, it's just a bit too late. I just have to land and contact them once we land. Right, radio altimeter is alive. Any last minute update on the weather? (250) 18, 10 degrees 9 8 8. Yeah, it's a nice strong headwind, so I'm not going to need a lot of flare on this. Alright, so here goes 5 miles. I've got the gear down. RMU. Armour spoilers. Don't need the anti-ice anymore. And flat 3, SeaJet flat 3. And flat 4. So landing checklist, cabin is secure for landing. Go altitude 3,000 feet set, and camera mode is landing no blues. What have you got for the speed? 130 is VLS, 131, I'm going to add maybe a knot on that, 37. There we go. Right, here's where the winds are coming, so a bit blustery. Right, is the banner working? That's the main thing. Yeah, banner does seem to be working okay. Luton traffic easy. 49 Tango Lima, we are on the ILS, so runway 25, and we are at 2 miles. Make sure nobody's going to line up in front of us. Are there any pappies? Where are the pappies gone? I'm either blind or I can't see them. Okay. We have no pappies, never mind.
500.
500 stable. I have to just do this the old-fashioned way and look out the window.
Hundred above. Minimum. One hundred. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard.
Hold it there. That would do, that would do, that would do, that would do. Spoilers, first green, decel. And manual brakes. So I should be able to make hotel here, this should be okay. I should have briefed the way we were actually going to go in, but because we're on 26, we're sort of going to go clockwise around the terminal. Floating green lights. Luton traffic, easy 49, Tango Lima is runway vacated. Right, done. I don't think that was quite 105 feet, but it probably wasn't that bad. That's on, that's done. These can come off. So I'm going to go in via Bravo, I think it is. Let's just have a quick look at... I need to slow down just a tiny little bit. Marking stands. So yeah, in via the left here. Allied traffic EC 49 Tango Lima is taxiing to stand 6 via Bravo. Alright, don't stop. Alright, that's done, that's done. That's off, that's done. Flaps can come up. That's off, that's done. That's done, that's on. Good. So yeah, maybe a little bit floaty on that landing, but was well within the touchdown zone, which is the main thing. That's it, go in front of me, knobhead. 0 feet per minute. Was it? Oh, it wasn't 0. It definitely wasn't 0. But that was probably about minus 200, I suppose. There's HQ, make sure we all salute to the right. Who pays our wages? Well, flying these things anyway. Not for you flying the British Airways one. Don't stop. I'm just going to go through you. I don't know why this pressurisation page keeps coming up after landing. It shouldn't do. Should be the wheel page that comes up to you know, keep an eye on the brakes. I don't know if they've just got the sequencing wrong on that, because the outflow valve opening is perfectly normal. That's what happens after we land. So yeah, that's maybe a little bit of a bug there, I think, with Phoenix. Yeah, oh, I didn't time. I never started the time. I keep forgetting to do that. So it doesn't look like there's anybody on the stand, which is good. Business jets. There's somebody rich. Private jet, 737. Right, stand 6 is fine. Taxi light can come off. APU is available. We've got brake pressure as well on the accumulator, which is good. So tight spaces these, we've got to sort of oversteer onto them. You're going to wait for me? I think he's going to wait for me. I won't bother with single engine taxi now. marshallers or anything. Just have to make do. Come on. So all clear. Make sure the doors are disarmed for the cabin crew. Oh, we've got about 10 minutes as well before we need to do lunch as well. It's probably just enough time for a replay. Right, beat you around there. Yeah, a bit more, a bit more. Dong. Right, that's it. There we go. Nice to stop. Parking brake is on. Brake pressure is holding. I'm sure we've had the 3 minutes. We have. And so 1 is off. 2 is off. That's done. That's done. That's on. It's 2000. Make sure they're good. So what's that? Our 49 block. That's not too bad. Get these off. These off. That's on. We've got external power. That's fine. I shouldn't have plugged that in that early. Need to wait for the beacons to go off. There we go. Beacons off, and there we go. So that's it. Obviously, come up with the parking checks as well. So let's have a look at the replay. Let's see if I can do the replay. Oh shit! I shouldn't have done that. I should have. Keep going. I shouldn't turn the bloody thingies off. Should I? Let's see if I can. Now let's see if I can turn the engines back on. Because it doesn't like it, does it, on the replay if the engines are off. Right, let's just see if we can disconnect that. Yeah, I keep forgetting, if you do the replay, you've got to do, you've got to have everything still running. Well, thanks for joining me for the flight to Luton. So that was all very good, all very nice. Yeah, I think the banner was lying if it said it was, 0 feet on the landing. But we're going to have a look at the update in a second. There was an update for Luton a few... Was that the... Okay, I'll have to have a look at that. Alright, start number 2. Let's get... What are we? Flap full, weren't we? So let's get the flaps out.
The traffic is Easyjetsimpilot G-EZSP.
Let's just set this up as it was like in the air. Ah, hey Ryan, how you doing? Deboard, just dismiss that. Yeah, we would normally deboard. Let's just get these things disconnected. Do you already have a departure? I do, Christian. Yeah, I've sort of got something planned.
Traffic shuttle 9 Juliet.
But I won't say what it is until I've done it. Right, let's get the... Disconnect the VAT sim so we don't embarrass anybody. That's what embarrass myself. And... Right, now I need to sort of see... Is that... Right, what's the day today? 23rd, that's it, isn't it? Aha, here we go. Right, play it. Right, I need to try and remember what I'm doing with this. Because last time I did it, I crashed. Don't forget to disconnect from that. Yeah, I've done that. So what I'm trying to do is... Right, can we... Aha, here we go. Yes, I pressed something last time and I completely made a mess of it. But It was a bit of an early flare, maybe a bit too early, a bit floaty. Yeah, that's fine. No, it doesn't. It's not simulating the reverses or anything, is it? But okay, let's have another look for another view. What did we cross the threshold at? That's what I'm interested to find out. Zero feet again. Yeah. What are you having a go at me for? Transponder. Oh god, it's really. Yeah, shut up. Parking brake. Oh yeah, parking brake. That needs to be off, doesn't it? I'm just trying to tidy this up now so it's not shouting at me. So yeah, we should be crossing the threshold. We should be crossing this bit about 50 feet, ideally. That's about right.
40.
It wasn't too bad. To be fair, it wasn't far off, probably minus 100, a couple hundred. Right, let's have a look at... Yeah, because we can do some interesting views on this, can't we? Let's go back. What is it? The showcase. There we go. This is the views we want to see. I always think this is quite a cool view. See how good the centre line was. Yeah, that's alright, it's bang on it, isn't it? So it's fine. Definitely not worth buying. The Sobu's nice. Which one was that? Any other decent views we can do? Should we do like a... what they call it? Do... free camera drone. How do I disconnect it? Follow me, that's what I want to do. Do a nice little showcase right at the very end. That would do. Right, I'll leave you with this, guys. I think, if I can do it. Go on. Where's he gone? Where's my aircraft gone? No, I'm still miles away. Oh yeah, just about to see the aircraft. Good. Yeah, thanks so much, guys. I'll leave you this. I don't. There wasn't really much of a tailwind, to be honest, Christian. So it's probably not even worth it. But yeah, let's try and get a decent view. Right. Thanks very much. I'm going to disappear. I'm going to leave you with the landing. Yeah. No. If I can sort this out, I will leave you to it when I've actually finally done it. That one. Yeah, thanks very much. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to do something tomorrow. So, yeah, we'll have a good day. And, yeah, weather seems to be nice enough. And, yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow on the 310. So it'll be something a little bit different tomorrow. And hopefully you'll enjoy that. So, well, hopefully you'll enjoy it. I won't really have a clue what I'm doing, but we can certainly have a good play with it. So see you later. Thanks very much.